There's several ways that we're looking at. There's some examples in the industry right now in the national front. Primarily, we looked at the Fort McKay, Mikisew Cree with Suncor model, and I think that works for our communities who lack investment capital, and that see the optimism, and some realize that they need a different source of revenue to subsidizing housing issues, water issues, education, all that stuff. And as well, we looked at the Ontario Hydro One deal. Again, these are different models that would work for our people, that are willing to participate in this infrastructure project.
We're talking about $4.5 billion, though, so this is quite a bit bigger than, say, the East Tank Farm. Have you been approached by any lenders, or have you approached any yourself?
Well, we know that there's money out there. We know that, the Canadian banks here in Canada, that they are very interested in this project. It is in the national interest, and I'm quite confident something's there. And as well, if we take it to the bond market, I'm sure, the rating will be AAA. It's just a matter of us kind of organizing and kind of see what we can put on the table. And we're going to hear different options today, which is tremendous, because right now, I know that the government and industry having issues of who do we talk to, who can we go to see about this issue when it comes up. Equity ownership, again, our end game isn't owning a pipeline. Our end game is, providing that resource for our communities. So.
Now, we do see a number of provincial ministers in there today. You have said that the province has been very supportive. What are they doing to support this?
Well, they're providing some resources, and obviously the Premier has been very vocal about having this pipeline completed. And I think she's, with the participation of the ministries, that they want to see it happen as well, and that they have accepted that, First Nations are going to participate in this project somehow, some way. So it's very promising in that regard.
And how have the negotiations been going with the federal government?
Well, unfortunately, the federal government has declined to participate. We've reached out to Minister Sohi a number of times, and unfortunately, there's other pressing issues. And understandably, you've seen a cabinet shuffle. Maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that, we work towards leaving something on the table for either Minister Sohi or Minister Morneau or the Prime Minister or the Prime Minister's advisors. You have to tell me, I don't know.
What do you think that says about your ability to be able to purchase this pipeline from the federal government then?
Well, I'm optimistic still. When he says, the Prime Minister says nation to nation, well, this is one of those issues, nation to nation. There's a lot of work that's going to be required after this. It's not going to happen tomorrow or next month or anything. So, we still want to acknowledge and respect the communities that are saying no right now. But ultimately, the ripple effect is now impacting our communities, our oil producing nations. They've come a long way, creating their own corporate governance to participate, to partner with industry. So, I'm optimistic because industry wants a pipeline, Canada needs a pipeline, and our members who are oil and gas producing, we need the pipeline too.
But some of the strongest opposition we've seen have been from other First Nations groups. Why do you think you're better positioned maybe to deal with that? Well,
we're connected to the land like you wouldn't. It's tough for everyday Canadian to understand our connection to the land. So, if some sort of project like this comes forward, we're going to amplify the environmental monitoring. Canada's regulations already are world class. So, and we just want to up that a bit more because we understand how the animals are and everything like that. But, again, each nation has their right to stand up and say no, and we get it. There's been a lack of trust, not only from industry and government, from our people, because it hasn't turned out very, very well. And with the Liberal government, when they came in and saying nation to nation, there was some optimism, as to opening that door of trust. Because in the past, we unable to participate in things like this, initiatives like this. So things are changing a little bit, and it's up to us now to kind of get our governance in place, to organize something that at least we can say that we have a unified, if not all the chiefs, majority, it's primarily oil and gas producing, to at least, well, here's an opportunity and we want to be part of it.
So you think you have a better chance of convincing them where the federal government can't?
Well, there's definitely need to be some dialogue, and I can't really comment too much on that. Like, I know there's a ton of issues that I still need to understand. The salmon and the killer whales, definitely, we have to take that in consideration. But in the same set, though, we talk about consultation with industry, we talk about consultation with government. Now we got to start doing consultation with each other, which I think is important, should be part of a national Indigenous strategy for dealing with these energy infrastructure projects.
Okay, so today you're talking about the big four ownership models, deciding amongst them what's the next step.
Well, the next step is to try to take it to different provinces and to communities that are unable to attend. And it's something that hopefully that we can get some support from our regional chief of the AFN here in Alberta, and as well move it nationally if we can. But one step at a time. I'm very thankful of the people and the delegates that signed up for this conference. But we also need support of the Canadians as well. Because at the end of the day, there is a shining light, I think, but we need to work together. Despite some differences that were in the past.